What up, what up, what up? It's the PAC, man. All things physician assistant. And I feel like I haven't put up a video for a while. Definitely not since all this COVID stuff has been going on. And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the COVID, man. And what's my projection of what's to come soon for the profession. That's for the physician assistant profession. All right, so for those of you who are not PAs as of yet, let's say PA prospects, pre-PAs, PA students, what have you, this is some information that you need to know about the profession that I didn't know and no one really could have anticipated. Now, as some of you may or may not know, prior to COVID, I was a very happy ears, nose, and throat PA. I mean, I love my job. And I did some moonlighting in the urgent care, plus I have my own, BLS, ACLS, and PALS business. So I conduct those classes and what have you. So I do a lot of other little things on the side. But my main source of income and really my passion is ears, nose, and throat. I love the doctor I work with. I love the staff. I love the office. I love the patients. Like, you fix them quickly. It's like instant gratification. Like they're not, I just loved it. And so basically, I got furloughed, man. And even furlough was a word I never even heard of until I got furloughed. Just basically just means laid off with benefits. So the company lets you go, and but they continue to pay for your benefits, whether it be health care or that stuff. And basically, and then they give you like a set time on how long your layoff is going to be, and depending what happens, usually 90 days, and depending on what happens at the end of the 90 days, they may bring you back if things go back to normal, or they may just go ahead and extend the furlough, or they may just lay you off permanently. In my case, with my company, they've opted to lay me off permanently. I mean, I'm still furloughed as we speak. I'm still having my health care, but that's soon to expire in the next 20 days or so. So basically what I've learned about, prior to PA school, or really just prior to COVID, I looked at PA like an untouchable profession. Like, you always hear about healthcare and, like healthcare professions are just by far like one of the most stable jobs in any economy, really. If you look at 2007, 2008 market crash, like a lot of people were affected as a result. And meanwhile, like not only PAs, but just the healthcare profession in general was booming through the crisis. And partly because a lot of people lost their jobs, or, a lot of people lost their homes. People were affected in many ways, but they had to figure out how to cut costs, and some of the corners that they decided to cut, unfortunately, was in paying for their health care. So people were uninsured, some people lost their jobs, and through that lost their health care. So, people were unfortunately sicker than usual, probably due to high stress from the market crashing and people losing their life savings, and they had it tied up in whether stock market or real estate investments or whatever it may have been. The stress was causing people to get sicker, and losing their health care or cutting their own health care was causing them to, it made the healthcare system stronger. So when I was evaluating that, right around that time, I was already a surgical tech, but I was thinking, man, I want to go back to school. I'm down. And I was thinking, like, it has to be in the healthcare system. Like, look at us, like, the market crashed and I'm doing overtime over here. Like, I'm great. I didn't have a house at the time, so I wasn't affected by it. So, I'm sure there were people in the healthcare system, millions of people probably, that were affected, by it, most certainly. But as far as job security goes, I can't say through the market crash that there were like nurses out of work. Like that's very unlikely. And I've worked with a lot of nurses in my life. So basically, when I looked at the PA profession and decided this is the direction I was going to go, I was thinking, man, this is a bulletproof profession. Like, what could really affect my job? And turns out COVID can affect my job. So basically, this was the actual catastrophic pandemic event that would ultimately cause my losing my job. And basically it happened that they shut down all businesses, so everyone really it was affected. But I have a lot of people that I certify in my business, so I'm in communication with hundreds of people, hundreds of PAs and nurse practitioners and nurses and EMTs, and all of the PAs that were working in a hospital remain working in a hospital. The hospital was slow, but not that many patients were, they were afraid to come into the hospital initially, especially during the first phases of quarantine and what have you. But nobody really was affected. Like, all the ICU PAs were still working ICU, busier than ever, of course, with all these sick patients. ER PAs and ultimately started to become affected. Now that I'm communicating with some, I hear some of the local ERs have furloughed only the mid-levels to allow for the doctors to continue to work. So I'm now starting to see that be affected, but I have some other ERPAs that are still working and working more than ever. Urgent cares slowed down a bit, but they continue to work. So what I've noticed is the more specialized PAs were the ones that were most affected. Like, I have some friends who are in ortho PAs. As the office was closed and the surgeon was unable to do their surgeries and no patients were coming in, that leaves no space to just have people sitting around in the office. So things like that, like ENT, all the specialties, cardiology, urology, etc. Like, this is the type of PAs that I see are most affected, including myself. So basically, if you're listening to this video and you're just now entering the profession or considering it, just know that we are not untouchable as I once thought. Like, PAs get affected. You have to consider, do I want to work in a private practice? Do I want to work? I can tell you now, there's a lot of money in specialization. If you work for a doctor who has a very finite like niche, then they get compensated well for that, because not many people do that. And because of that, you get compensated well if it's a fair doctor and you guys negotiate a fair contract or fair salary. So, often when I looked into specialties, I thought, this is good money for not really crazy patient load. Like, we're probably seeing 40 to 50 patients a day, and we're splitting that. So I was seeing 20, 25 patients a day spaced out throughout the day. That's really not. You talk to any ER or busy urgent care PA, and they'll tell you, man, that's a cakewalk. That's a light day. And that was really my heavy day, because I've seen as little as, we've had 20 patients for the day, and we're just seeing 10 each. So very light. For the amount of money I was making, it was very, it was more pay, less work, the American dream. And, but the more you specialize, if something was ever to occur that would cause businesses to shut down, you as a mid-level provider are the highest paid employee in the office, right? If he or she, the doctor, is employing, a front desk person, a referral coordinator, a couple medical assistants, and a mid-level provider, you are the the highest paid employee in the office. Do I let go of my entire office, or do I let go of my PA? And usually the PA in this case seems like it's the better route to go. And and as a business owner, I spoke to my doctor straight up. I said, you can't let go of 4 MAs trying to keep me. I get it. You gotta let me go, man. I get it. And he's still trying to bat to keep me, and I appreciate it. And he's talking to corporate, and I've been applying to other places ever since. And every time I get a job offer, I tell him about it just to keep him in the loop. And he's like, hey, can you send me the job offer if you don't mind? I want to show it to corporate, see if there's something we can work out. And I'm like, sure, I'll send it. But as a company, I don't see why or how they would take on a 6-figure, they have an opportunity to cut 6-figure budget right there, and that's just perfect for a company. That's perfect. But either way, PAs have also been affected by this, and what's happening, and what I believe my projection to be, is that so many PAs have been furloughed with a lot of experience that by the time the furlough is over, let's say furloughed or laid off, by the time the furlough is over, with their given experience, they've already moved on. They already found another job. There's still places hiring. There is very experienced ERPAs who were laid off momentarily, but they have so much experience, and other ERs are needing more assistance because they're in more hotspots, and they're gonna take that PA. And so what's happening is, and this is really happening in all specialties. So what I've noticed, or what I believe is to happen, is that after all this dust settles, all this COVID stuff blows over, there's going to be an influx of jobs, of PA jobs or mid-level jobs, just because so many people jump ship. For instance, my doctor, the ENT doctor, is already saying, it sucks that I have to lose you, because 6 months from now, I'm already picking up. I'm seeing twice as many patients this week as I was last week. I'm picking up every day. That means 6 months from now, I'm overwhelmed again with patients, and I need help. Now I have to go and find another PA. You're already, I've had you for a year. I trained you. You were up and running, able to see able to run the practice on your own. I was able to go on vacations with a peace of mind. And now what? Now I have to find somebody again, train somebody again. And I was like, I get your frustration, most certainly. So my prediction is that there's going to be a surge of jobs available, and I can start to see them trickle in little by little. And when they call me for an interview, and I kind of or we have a phone interview, and I kind of ask them so what happened with your last PA? Well, we had to lay them off momentarily, but they've decided to use the opportunity. They've always wanted to move to another state, and they use that opportunity and to just do it, to transition. They found another job in another state, and now they're looking to just move. I'm like, okay, I understand. And I'm thinking, man, and that's just one isolated incident, but really that's a lot of cases. I predict this to be the biggest surge of jobs to hit the market. I think this is great for new graduates, because if the company's not back to 100% running, it's a perfect opportunity to get a new graduate, which you can pay, significantly less than you would a highly experienced PA. I know, because I'm wedged right in the middle. I am, about a year and a half experience, but only in ENT. So if I go to apply for ortho, they're essentially still considering me a new graduate. They're like, look, we know you've been a PA for a year and a half, but we still have to train you in everything orthopedics. So this is the offers that we have, the negotiation. We can negotiate salaries, but it has to fall within this parameter, which is what we consider a new graduate pay. I was like, okay. And it makes sense. I understand. Unless I apply for an ENT job, I'm not really experienced yet. Thank God for my urgent care experience that allows me to really negotiate higher salary in the urgent care realm. So basically, I want to conclude with saying to all the PAs out there who made it through the COVID without any like direct effect to their salary or their pay or their hours, congratulations, that's awesome. I got plenty of friends who did very well actually through this whole thing, and the travel nurses did the travel nurses did better than everybody, because I mean they were paying unprecedented numbers, like to have you travel to another state, to a hot spot, but to travel to a hot spot on short notice as a nurse, they were very well compensated. To those PAs out there who were furloughed or laid off, hang in there. I'm in the same boat with you. Let's just keep paddling. Let's keep moving forward. To those PA students or PA prospects or pre-PAs, keep pushing forward. Don't feel as if you've already come as far as to make the decision that this is the right profession for you, it most certainly is, and know that you're entering a market that's going to be a brand new, clean slate, and you're going to have a lot of job opportunities to pick from. I believe it's my prediction. So that's all I got to say about COVID as far as my experience thus far with it. All right, stay blessed, y'all. Peace.